Just because your church is a ministry doesn't mean that you can't look through the lens of a business framework from time to time in relation to your church. In fact, team building and leadership and finances and marketing, all of those things can be pulled from the business world and applied to your church to actually not take advantage of the system, but be a good steward of what God has already given you. And so in this video, we're going to be talking about why you as a pastor, why you as a church leader should not have to apologize for effectively marketing your church. And then we're going to give you some really practical strategies for leveraging marketing to, again, reach new people in your community, increase giving, hit all of your other online objectives. Really what we're trying to do is market our church effectively to hit business impact goals and ministry impact goals. Hey everyone, Brandon here with Richie Creative. Hey, if you're new to the channel, this is a resource for you, the pastor, for you, the church leader, to put some practical tools in your hands to, again, help you reach new people online, hit all of your other online objectives as well. If you haven't already, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell. Okay, so marketing is a big deal, not just for businesses, not just for nonprofits, but even for churches. In fact, I would suggest that if you're not marketing your church effectively, you're actually probably not stewarding what God has put before you as effectively as you can. So if you think about it like this, God has given you influence, God has given you people on your team, on your staff, in your congregation, and He's given you resources. He's given you the digital age, and He's given you the internet and social media platforms and all of these different ways that you can actually do ministry in a more effective way. And if you're not leaning into that and you're not utilizing the tools that are set right in front of you, I don't think that you're probably hitting either your business impact goals or your ministry impact goals as effectively as you could. This is something that you probably already know as a pastor and as a church leader, but church attendance in the year 2024 is in decline. Churches are closing down at a quicker rate than they're opening. In fact, here's one quick statistic to kind of set the stage. It says every year, more than 4,000 churches close their doors compared to just over 1,000 new churches that are starting. And so again, churches are closing down. People aren't coming to church. Attendance is in decline. So what do you do about it? Well, of course, God is the one that brings opportunities. God is the one that brings visitors. God is the one that really bestows every blessing that we have in our lives, both personally and professionally and in a ministry context. But also, it's up to us to be good stewards and to do the right things to help those things to happen also. And so again, it's not that you're not having faith, but it's that God also wants you to make a move and also take action as well. One analogy that I've heard before that I liked a lot, it's probably not the most accurate way to describe what's actually happening here, but it's kind of like driving a car and God is the one that's steering. So He is the one that's taking you down this road or taking you down that road or opening doors or closing doors. But He also wants you to put your foot on the gas. You have to actually take action, build up momentum, and do your part. So yes, God is going to bring people into your church. He's going to give you opportunities. He's going to give you donors. He's going to make all of these different things happen for your church because He is a God that will bestow blessings upon His people. But also, He wants you to be a good steward, and He wants you to manage your team well and manage your finances well and manage your marketing well, because your marketing is going to be the thing that's casting a net to your community, to the lost, to the people that are broken and hurting in your community that need a savior. And so if you're marketing your church effectively, again, it's just one more way that you can be a good steward of what God has put before you. One person that I respect a ton, especially in the finance world, is Dave Ramsey. So we're going to watch just a super quick clip from an interview with Dave Ramsey where he kind of talks about this balance between, yes, having faith in God, but also being intentional and being a good steward as well.
Part of the problem is some pastors say, well, pastors shouldn't be wealthy because they actually believe Christians shouldn't be. And so they're afraid they're setting up a model by actually handling their money well. And, now you don't want to become wealthy like a hog at the trough, by eating out of the church to the point of that. But on the other hand, if your reaction to that having happened a couple of times, and it has happened, is to say, oh, I'm going to be poor, or I'm going to do a bad job of handling money, or I'm going to be disorganized and just hope it all works out. I've had pastors tell me, well, I've got faith. And I said, well, have faith enough to follow the scriptures.
Okay, so we've set a stage for the fact that churches are in decline. People aren't attending church at as high rates as they used to. And we've also talked about the fact that it's okay to be intentional with your finances and with your business and with your marketing and to actually apply some of those business principles to your ministry and to your church. So with that being said, what are some really, really practical strategies that you can implement starting today as a church leader, as a pastor for your church to market your church in an effective way, thus being a good steward of what is currently set before you? Before we go over these different marketing principles, I always like to think, what are we actually trying to hit? What's the goal that we're actually trying to achieve? Zig Ziglar used to say, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. You have to have an objective. You have to have a goal. And so I would break this down into two different goals in terms of marketing. One is your business goals, which again, it's okay as a ministry and as a church to have business goals. And we'll talk about what some of those might be in just a minute. And then the other category is your ministry goals. So what are your actual ministry goals that you're trying to hit and trying to accomplish? So as a church, again, you have business impact and ministry impact. Your business impact might be things like your finances. It could be your leadership or team building. It could be your networking or community engagement. So those are just a few different things that could be in that category. And then on the ministry impact side of things, these are pretty obvious, but salvations, that's a big thing to measure your ministry impact by. Another one might be baptisms. How many baptisms are you having weekly or monthly? Another one might be discipleship groups or connect groups. How many of those are happening on a weekly or monthly basis? And so those are some different things that you might be interested in setting goals for and measuring goals for and tracking goals for from a ministry impact standpoint. So again, you have business impact and ministry impact, and really they kind of feed into each other because you can't really hit your ministry impact goals if you don't have the funds or the business impact in order to make that happen, and vice versa. So they really do connect together. So now we've talked about business impact, ministry impact, and the fact that it's okay to market your church. How do we do it? So I'm going to give you three main categories for marketing: inbound, outbound, and relational. And we're going to break those down in just a second. But all three of those are going to feed into one thing that is going to help somebody be a new visitor to your church. And that one thing, believe it or not, is your church website. So this is at the very, very top of everything else we're doing from a marketing standpoint. And you'll kind of see why in a second, but everything funnels into this. Why? Because in the year 2024, your website is the virtual front door to your church. And if your strategy is off on your website, if you're not marketing effectively for your website, then it's like having a lock on the door. People can't get in. So you want to make sure that your virtual front door is wide open. It is a warm atmosphere. It is the equivalent of a handshake and a smiling face on Sunday morning when somebody visits your website. So that is the thing that everything else is funneling into. But now let's get into these three categories that are all funneling into your church website. So you have inbound marketing, you have outbound marketing, and you have relational marketing. So to kind of break these down a little bit, inbound marketing basically just means these are people who are basically coming to you first from some environment online, on social media. Again, we're going to get into specifics in a second. Outbound marketing basically just means they're not really coming to you, you're going to them. So you're basically making the first move with some sort of interaction to them. And then relational marketing, it is what it sounds like, events for your church in order to help market your church effectively, to reach new people in your community and get them to your website. Because again, the website is the thing that all of these different marketing channels are going to flow into. And the website will kind of serve as the conversion tool to convert somebody from a online visitor into an in-person visitor on Sunday morning. So what are some examples of inbound marketing and some of the top inbound marketing strategies that you should be deploying and you should be leveraging for your church in order to reach new people in your community? The first one is social media. Now there's two different kinds of social media that you want to be leveraging in your marketing strategy. One is organic social media. So just posting about your church, posting about events, posting about different things that somebody in your area might be interested in regard to your church on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, etc. The second thing from an inbound strategy perspective that you want to be utilizing well in your marketing strategy is social media ads. So this one's not organic. This would be paid ads. So if you have Easter coming up or a summer camp coming up or a VBS coming up or something like that, you're running ads for that, inviting people in the community to the event. Or maybe you're trying to give away some sort of freebie or some sort of value add to that person via a social media ad, collecting an email address, and then they can go into an automated nurture funnel via email or something like that. But these are the two primary things from an inbound strategy that you want to be deploying effectively as a church is your social media organic posts, your social media paid posts, so paid ads. And then the third thing from an inbound strategy is your YouTube channel. So this would be like your sermon uploads from a Sunday morning, because again, this is something that people are going to stumble across on their Facebook feeds as people are sharing, hey, check out, Pastor so-and-so, they preached a great sermon on Sunday. You should check it out if you haven't already, and you can visit our church. So it's a great tool for people in your congregation to share your content from YouTube or from some other video platform from a Sunday morning. So again, from inbound, you're posting on social media, you're running paid ads on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc., and then even sermon uploads on platforms like YouTube. So that's inbound. Now outbound, some really great strategies from an outbound perspective. Again, these are people that you're basically making the first move to. In the church world, the most common one would be mailers. So basically, if you are purchasing a list of 100 or 500 or 1,000 mailing addresses from a certain community or a certain part of a community, and then you're sending out, 6x9 postcards or flyers, basically you are doing cold outreach via mail, snail mail, to different people that probably don't know that you exist in your area and in your community, which is probably prompting them to scan a QR code, which will then lead them to the website, which hopefully, again, your website is the conversion tool that is then converting that person from a website visitor into an in-person visitor on Sunday morning. So again, you're inbound, you have social media pointing people to the website. Outbound, you have mailers pointing people to the website. So mailers can be a great outbound marketing strategy for you to leverage as a church. Another great outbound marketing strategy, especially in this digital age in the year 2024, is email marketing. So this is something that we actually just recorded an entire video about that you can check out. We put a link to that video as well. But basically good email marketing strategies, both in terms of nurturing people, but even cold outreach, sending cold emails, inviting people into the life of your church, inviting them to an event, something like that. So again, you're doing this with mailers, you're doing this with email, but this is an outbound approach. People that probably don't know that you exist, you're inviting them to visit on Sunday morning, to visit an event, inviting them into the life of your church. Again, inbound and outbound are both pointing people to your website, and your website is the primary conversion tool, converting somebody from a website visitor into an in-person visitor on Sunday morning. Okay, so I mentioned 3 different categories. We talked about inbound, we talked about outbound. The third category is relational marketing. So one really great tactic for relational marketing is events. So this could be something like Easter egg hunts around Easter time. This could be something like 5K races that your church staff might decide to put on, fundraising events. But the big goal here is inviting people in the community to something that is not a Sunday morning service. Could be a trunk or treat, could be an Easter egg hunt, could be a 5K race, but something that's fun, something that the whole family would enjoy participating in, to introduce people in the community to you, to your church. And then hopefully that will encourage them to go to the website, learn more, and then visit on a Sunday morning, some Sunday. Next week, we're going to be interviewing Adam Leahy from Connect Camps. He basically has been working with Christian summer camps for the past decade, really helping pastors and church leaders reach new people in their community via summer camps, VBS. So if you as a church have a summer camp coming up or a VBS coming up, and you want to think through how can we use relational marketing to really, find new people in our community, reach new people in our community, invite people through the doors of our church who might not otherwise visit our church. You want to stay tuned for that interview. Again, that's going to be next week right here on this channel. And the final way that you can leverage relational marketing as a church is tapping into other people's spheres of influence. I mentioned this earlier, talking about YouTube as a platform. People might be sharing your sermons on Facebook, on Instagram, and that might be a great tool for reaching new people. What you're really doing there is you're saying, hey, how can we tap into all of the spheres of influence of our congregation, giving them some sort of incentive to share videos with their friends, to invite people to Easter, invite people to different events. Because if you can tap into hundreds or thousands of people's friend groups and colleagues and coworkers and fellow students, you're going to expand your reach far beyond what you could do as a single pastor or what your leadership team might be able to do as a church. So really, you're tapping into other people's spheres of influence however you can. That's going to cast a really wide net over your community, over your city, which will hopefully in the long run get more people to either visit you on Sunday morning or visit your website, which again is the conversion tool to then hopefully convert them from a website visitor into an in-person visitor on Sunday morning. To recap, marketing is a big deal. It's something that you should be doing as a church. It's not sneaky. It's not salesy to market your church with email marketing or mailer marketing or relational marketing or any of these other strategies. What it's doing is realizing, hey, as a church leader, as a church, as a pastor, I've been given influence. I've been given team members. I've been given a great city. I've been given internet and technology and computers and email automation tools and all of these different things. How can I best be a steward of all of these tools that are set before me? in terms of marketing my church. So again, it's not salesy, and you shouldn't have to apologize for marketing your church as a pastor. It's something that's going to help you, number one, of course, with your ministry impact, reaching new people, helping salvations to happen, helping discipleship and lifelong conversations to happen. But then even on the business impact side of things, it's going to help to escalate that and help you to have more revenue that you can put into 5Ks and events and VBSs and summer camps and everything else. And so again, it's not that you don't have faith that God can provide, because yes, he is the provider. He is the one that's going to provide ultimately for your church and for your ministry, but you can't just sit down and expect him to do everything without you putting any effort in. And so this is one very simple way that you can put the effort in channeling your marketing and leveraging your marketing for your church effectively. Well, hopefully this was a helpful video just to think through some of these different marketing principles and marketing strategies that you as a church can implement to help reach, again, your ministry impact and your business impact goals. Well, one of the things I hear all the time from the churches that we coach and train is for social media ads, for mailers, even on our website, we just don't have any good photos. We haven't been able to invest in a good camera for our staff to take photos, or hire a photographer to come out and take photos of our congregation, photos of ministries happening. Well, the fact is, you want your website and social media ads, for that matter, to reflect the warmth that somebody is greeted with in person on Sunday morning. The best way to do that is high quality photos of happy, smiling people. The problem is, if you are a smaller church, you just might not have the budget to hire a photographer, or you just might not have, a lot of photos to choose from. Well, we just put together a brand new resource for you, the pastor, for you, the church leader. It's basically a vault of high quality photos of happy, smiling people that are royalty free, meaning you can use them for anything. You could post it on social media, you could put it in a mailer, you could put it on your website. These are photos that are going to mimic the warmth that somebody might expect on Sunday mornings on your website in the virtual environment. Again, your website is the virtual front door to your church, so you want it to be warm, you want it to be friendly. And so I'm going to put a link in the description if you want to download some of these photos. Again, it's just a vault of dozens and dozens of great photos that are royalty free, that you as a pastor, that you as a church leader can use on social media, in print collateral, and on your website, which again is the virtual front door to your church. Well, hopefully this video added a little bit of value to you today. If you haven't already, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so that you never miss a training video. Remember, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Stay creative, and we'll catch you next time.